to prevent the department from becoming an MUA while making the badly needed repairs? I believe it is your turn, Mr. Brown.
First of all, the only reason there's no MUA is because Raz Baraka was elected councilman in the city. If I wasn't on the council, there would be an MUA in this city. That's a fact. That's the truth. That's not something that people are making up. That's reality. So we brought it to the community, and there's no MUA because of us. The only reason that the watershed organization has been dismantled is because Raz Baraka was the councilman in the South Ward who kept demanding that they do something about what's going on at the watershed. The only reason the courts and the mayor has turned against the watershed is because this councilman has fought them tooth and nail to do something about what's been going on over in that watershed. As a result of that, we're searching now for a director of the watershed department, director of the water department. We brought all of the practices in-house. Everything that the watershed did, we're doing it now in-house. We took those employees and brought them back to Newark. We're looking for somebody to direct that. We're also talking about the water rates. We're talking about water rates so we can begin to fix the water infrastructure in the city and begin to look for grants so we can begin to fix the water infrastructure in the city. We also talked about the Passaic Valley Sewage Company and putting meters there so we can begin to get the money that we deserve from the Passaic Valley Sewage Company. And frankly, all the other cities around here who use Newark's water and resells its water, and we don't get the money that we're supposed to get for them. We also talked about going after the airport and making sure that they pay their fair share in the water that they use. So, well, we have to have an aggressive plan to bring our water bills in home to pay the things that they owe us. We have to get that money here. Secondly, we have to manage the water ourselves, right? We have to employ people in Newark, from Newark. So if I say all the time, I want Newarkers to work, I'm not embarrassed by that. I want Newarkers to work. If I say all the time, I want Newarkers to benefit, I'm not embarrassed by that. Newark should benefit. Newark first. If I'm not embarrassed because I get up and say Newarkers should be directors, Newarkers should be police officers, Newarkers should be firemen, Newarkers should run the water department, I'm not embarrassed by that. It's not building a wall. It's saying to people, if you eat, we eat too. I mean, I don't understand what's wrong with that. I don't understand how that's isolating people by telling them that we also deserve to make a living in our own city. That's the right thing to do.
Frankly, I don't really think we're going to answer to the question. The council talked he's going to look to this, and we talked about that, then we talked about something else, then we looked at something else, but we didn't really have an answer to the question. It is true the councilman was a leader in terms of saying no to the MUA, but we got to say yes to something. He seems to be very good at stopping things and being no, but we got to say yes to some things. Because once the MUA went down, what it was replaced with was the sale leaseback, which was one of the most disastrous budgetary decisions any municipality has made in the last 30 years. It's embarrassing. It's a straight embarrassment. They sold off Symphony Hall. They sold off your police headquarters. They sold off police precincts. They sold off firehouses to get $40 million. You're going to pay $125 million for that $40 million. That sounds like a great deal? No. That's what you did. That's what you did. So we said yes, we said no to that. But then you also said no to the leaseback. But I don't know what you're going to say yes to, because then we didn't hear any proposal to address that. This is how we deal with the water issue. We're going to have to borrow against future water payment proceeds. It'd be great if a grant from the federal government comes, that'd be great. And obviously we want to look to that. And there's sandy dollars out there where maybe we can mitigate this to some extent. That'd be a beautiful thing if we could get someone to kind of help us. This money could drop out of the sky. We're going to have to borrow against future payments on the water bills to fix the infrastructure. When you have a $500 million hole, the city of Newark's whole budget is $600 million. Where are you going to get that kind of money? Where are you going to get that kind of money? And when we do borrow, guess what? You're going to pay more for the cost of that borrowing because our credit rating was just downgraded based upon the actions of this council in 2010. So we can't just escape and wish away our record, because the record has helped to put us in the hole that we have to now dig ourselves out of now. So once we win this election, that's what we're going to have to do. Obviously, we'll leverage federal grant dollars, we'll leverage state Sandy dollars, but you're going to have to borrow to fix that infrastructure because it's decaying, and that's also costing us money. The leakage is costing us money. The inability to capture and to accurately bill people for the water we're delivering is costing us money. So that's how we're going to have to get that done, and that's the answer to that question.
comments or clapping while the candidates are speaking. Mr. Barak has asked to rebut this. I'm going to allow him, and then I'm going to allow Mr. Jeffries again, and then we will move on to the next.
Okay, so these are 20 ideas that we came up with, that we gave the mayor of the city to do instead of the sale leaseback. He didn't do it, right? So there's ideas that we gave him. One being a municipal tax option that we got from Atlanta. That I traveled down there to visit the mayor of Atlanta, who graduated from Howard University with me. A municipal tax option that allows us to raise money for a specific period of time directly tied to fixing the water infrastructure. We talked about a container tax of all the containers that come into the seaport that need to be taxed that we don't receive. We talked about revisiting Port Authority agreement to make sure that we get a tax on the heads that come through the end of the airport every single day. These are ideas that we put forward, not schemes, not scams. We put together a team that was led by Councilman Ron Rice of individuals that were responsible for raising revenue for the city of Newark that was denied and vetoed and pushed back by the mayor. We constantly pushed and constantly pushed. We came to the last hour. The sale leaseback was either that or people's taxes was raised through the roof. That was the problem, and that's why we need a new mayor. And that's why we did say something about Cory Booker at that time, because something needed to be said, not about him as an individual, but about the policy that he was pushing around the MUA that put all of us in a hole where we went on TV and started talking about we won't have toilet paper in the city if we don't push this MUA. So it was a serious fight, and it was important for us to mention these things. So these are the things that we began to do to push for things. So it wasn't just about stopping things, it was about stopping them to start something else. In order to start something, you have to stop one thing, right? We can't go in two directions at the same time. You have to stop one direction so you can go in another direction. And if you don't have the courage to get up and say stop in order so we can move in this direction, then you can't be in charge. That's exactly what we do every single day. The city is moving in a direction, it's moving in a direction like this. So there's a lot of people in Newark who think Newark is going in the right direction. They think Newark is going in the right direction. I think that there's some positives about the way Newark is going, but I also believe that there's some things that we have to do as a collective to make sure that when it goes the places it's going, that we get there too with it.
Councilman says that they stopped MUA and worked with Councilman Rice with a group that the Rice group came out with a sale leaseback. And I've described what that is. It speaks for itself. You can do your own research. And again, like the councilman just said, when he talked about the choices Mayor Booker made, he said that wasn't a personal attack against him. He was critiquing the policies. That's what I'm coming from. I have no personal issue with anybody. That's not what it's about. It's about the policy choices. You made a decision. You said no to the MUA. That led to a sale leaseback, which you're going to be paying for the next 20 years. Your children are going to be paying that. You're going to pay $125 million for $40 million. And he said we didn't want taxes to go through the roof. Only the city of Newark can raise taxes 16% in 1 year, and that's not through the roof. Most places, it was raised above 2%. 2% in 1 year. That would be dramatic. They do 16 and say, oh, that's not through the roof. They raised it 40% in the last 4 years. That's why I talk about these perks. This is outrageous. The fact that we got to have this conversation about people with their family members on the payroll, about multiple public jobs for public officials, about taxpayer-funded cars. No, the city of Newark is 24 square miles. This ain't Nebraska. You ain't got to drive 100 miles to get something. So the fact that we're having this conversation, are you kidding me? How dare you look at a senior in the eye who's on a fixed income on Social Security to pay her bills, may lose her home because you raise taxes 40%, and then you drive to her house to have a conversation about it in a car she pays for. Are you kidding me? And then it's a problem for us to raise that? That shows you how much work we have to do in the city of Newark, because we have a culture that is so ingrained that folk don't even question things that are so basic and fundamental that they don't even exist in the majority of the country, and haven't existed in the majority of the country for 20, 30 years, and it's unbelievable. In 2013, we got to talk about these things.
Please, I know it's hard. I know it's hard. You're here, you're rooting for your candidate, and I know it's so. But just wait until they're finished. If you want to clap, just try to wait until they're finished, because some people can't hear it. Next question. This will go to Ron, right? Yeah, okay. As a mayoral candidate, are you planning on running a full ticket? Since the Booker T ticket became nothing more than a rubber stamp legislative body, why should Newarkers vote for you as mayor and your full ticket?
Yes, my plan is to have a full ticket, absolutely. And the reason that we want to do that is we want to have a council slate that's committed to the things I'm talking about tonight. The council can block things left and right. I mean, there seems to be an argument that some of my opponents have that it's all the mayor. The council doesn't do anything. We have a very strong council form of government. The council controls the purse strings. And who controls the money controls all. The budget gets passed by the council, not the mayor. So you got to have a council that supports the vision of the mayor. So we absolutely will have a full slate of council members who supports the vision that we're articulating tonight.
You want to tell us who's running on your ticket?
Right now, I have Marion May running in the West Ward. We have Maceo Valentin running in the North Ward. We have Wilfredo Caraballo, former assemblyman, running at large. We have other people we're exploring with in terms of other positions. And when the time is right, we'll make a full announcement of the full team to the people of North so that they understand who it is that we're putting up to fight for the future of the city.
Thank you. Mr. Barack.
Yes, we are intending on running a slate, but we're not just picking people just for the sake of picking people. We're going through people very meticulously to figure out not just if they agree with me, because I don't want to do what we had prior to that, which was have a bunch of consensus candidates who all agree with what I say, and if I'm wrong, I never have enough courage to go against what I say. So what we need is people who represent their community, who are ingrained in their community, who are part of their neighborhood. And when it's time to announce that, we will announce that. We have vetted many candidates, and we're going to have a full ticket if we find a full ticket to run with, because I'm not interested in being a mayor or being king. So there's no king, right? So I don't want to be the king, and I don't want a whole bunch of council people that walks around and say yes to everything that I say, right? So I don't want to be the king, right? We fought England a long time ago. There's no king, right? So what I want is the people of Newark to come to City Hall with me. I don't care about all these individuals that say I want the people of Newark to come into City Hall with me. When we have the inauguration, it should be like the 1970 inauguration when King Gibson had it in the front of City Hall, when all of Newark got on the streets because the transformation of Newark was coming forward. That's what I'm looking forward to. Not just individuals who show me their resume and think that they deserve to be in City Hall because somehow they're better and smarter than everybody else in the city.
Who you're going to run on the ticket so far? Do you have any idea who will be running on your ticket?
There's a few people, but we want to announce that collectively. I know in the South we're running Pat Council. In the West we got Joe McCollum. No, but there's Mildred Crump, who's a part of our ticket. But there's a few people that we've added and that we're continuing to add every single day. And the ticket is going to be diverse. We have Cesar Vizcaíno, who is a serious candidate, Dominican in the city of Newark, who's an organizer, who's been in this community fighting for a long time. So we have people like that we want to bring on the ticket, and we're still battling with ideas to bring more and more people on our ticket. And we'll make a full announcement when the time is right.
Thank you very much. I have just been asked that some of you big, strong men that are sitting down, there are a couple of seniors that are standing in the back. Would you mind giving your seat to some of the seniors that don't have a seat, that have come in? I'm really glad to see so many people came out today. There are 2 seats that just opened up front, if someone wants to come up front. Come on. You can come and have a seat. There's a seat right here. Any more seniors? There's another seat here. Well, make sure our seniors have a seat. Come on. No more, there's one more seat up front. We're good now?
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, let's go to the next question. Now, for those of you that came in late, these are questions that were submitted by the residents of Society Hill. Hopefully I'll have enough time to open it up to the audience where you guys can ask questions. This one is: violent crime in Newark continues to rise. Before, during, and after the layoff of 167 police officers. While bringing back those officers is a popular answer, what will you do to ensure office accountability? And I think, Ross, it goes to you first.
That's okay. First of all, I didn't vote to lay off any police officers. And as a matter of fact, we've been fighting vehemently to get them to bring back the 50 officers at a time that the mayor has promised, to bring back the police academy that McCarthy got rid of, that we fought for him to get rid of, for us to get rid of him, as a matter of fact. But I think that everybody's going to say we need to bring back police officers, and we do. But I think finally the plan rests with economic development and vitality in our community. Jobs, increased wages, all those things improve and stabilize neighborhoods. And I'm going to tell you something. Throw a rock at Springfield Avenue and 10th Street, and you'll see a supermarket there that was never there before, that came there because Raz Barak is the councilman. Throw another rock on Springfield Avenue by the cemetery. You'll see that Hope USA is starting to build a building there. Go down the street where my mother lives at, on Clinton Avenue and 10th Street. Throw another rock. There's another beautiful building by Hope USA. Do another rock down on Freeland Heights and Avenue, and you'll see a huge parking facility that was created down there that takes people to the airport. We could go on and on. You could throw a rock on Bergen Street. We sold the property, the old 4-leaf deli that's getting ready to be turned into a housing and storefront church and storefront places. Also, if you throw a rock just a couple of blocks down the street, there's more development that's going to happen there. First abandoned property ordinance passed by this councilman. You'll see houses coming down that were abandoned, not just in the South Ward, but all over the city, because this councilman passed the abandoned properties ordinance. Find some you can shake your head, find some residents in the South. I could find you residents in the South Ward who are in homes today because of a homesteading ordinance that this councilman passed that put them in a brand new house that they bought after it was rehabilitated and sold by this city. This councilman passed that. The South Ward has been in trouble for a while because the city of Newark has been in trouble for a while. This councilman did not come and take the easy job. Did not say I want to do something nice. Did not say I want to do something that wasn't difficult. I've always been involved in doing the difficult things. So I took over the South Ward, and we've been fighting to do transformation in that ward since I've been there for 3 years. And people who are involved in the ward, you know, people who actually come to the community meetings, people who actually show up to the anti-violence rallies, people who actually come to the block meetings, except the ones, not just the ones they have for their own self. The people who come to the other things, they know what's happening in the South Ward every day. They know how difficult it is, but they also see the progress we are making. And that is the reason why we're running for mayor, because we understand that the South Ward councilman seat is not enough. That we need more power, more influence, more things to be able to institute a plan of economic development. You'll also see, if you go over to Seth Boyden, the huge Seth Boyden development that's about to develop over there. You're going to see the development of a community center over there by Seth Boyden. You're also going to see the rehabilitation of Dayton Street School. That's going to be a beautiful new school. Those meetings, I've seen none of these folks at those meetings. A beautiful school there. You're going to see housing on the golf course right there. These are things that are happening in the South Ward, and I implore you to get involved in the war so you can see the things that are taking place right there in 3 years.
I understand that. I applaud you for the things that you've done in the South Ward, Mr. Baraka, but how is that going to ensure officer accountability among the police officers?
I had to do that. You know I had to do that. I apologize. I had to do that because I can't, just allow lies to be told. But the reality, officer accountability starts from the top. So it depends on who you have as a director, right? The director and then the police chief, the culture of the police department depends on its leadership. Just like the culture of anything. It's like a culture of a school, the culture of the city. And we have to pick qualified people to be in charge of these positions. Not people that we know, not our friends, not folks that get in these positions and do for themselves and the people around them. We need folks that are, frankly, have a relationship to this city. Frankly, have a commitment to Newark. Frankly, have a history in this city. I'm a proponent of making police officers move from the 1 year to 3 years. So instead of just saying you need 1 year to be a police officer in the city, I'm saying you need to live in Newark for 3 years. Like, these are things that I'm saying in order to make people accountable to the communities that they work in, that they live in. It's easy for people to drive out of Newark and police Newark and not really be committed to what's going on in our city. But if you live on Shear Avenue with me, then you're just as concerned about the break-ins and the robberies that go on the block because you live on the block with me. It's important not only for us to do that legally, but it's also important for us to recruit Newarkers to be on the police force. So the police department itself should be in these schools trying to recruit law enforcement officers to be a part of the Newark Police Department.
If I'm understanding you correctly, you're increasing your residency laws from 1 to 3 years before you can become a police officer?
And making sure we have a qualified director and police chief.
Okay, thank you. And where will we get the funds to bring in some more police officers? Why would you find funds? We need our cops back. I'm sorry, our police officers back. We need them back.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, I'm gonna get you. Okay. I want to know, can you find funds? Where you gonna find money in the budget?
So, first of all, we already have money to bring 50 officers. In fact, we have money to bring 100 officers back. If we had an academy, we'd have brought them back already. That's number one. So, we have money. As a matter of fact, the problem is when police officers leave through attrition, we wait too long to bring more officers back. So when 30 leave, 20 leave, 15 leave, we waited, we want to bring a whole bunch back at one time, which is problematic. We need to bring them back in increments. If 30 police officers leave, we need to bring 30 back at some point, or at least 15, but we can't wait until we have 300 officers missing and say we need to find money to bring 300 officers back. It's problematic.